Hot takes, insider info, intriguing interviews, we have it all here for you. You're listening to the Green Machine Podcast.
Connor Wilson for three in the corner, bottom.
Gets up and rises up like a salmon.
You're listening to the Green Machine Podcast with Kyle and Micah.
Hey everybody, it's the Green Machine Podcast back again. We're here with the newest UVU signee, Evan Cole, Georgia Tech grad transfer. Some big news coming out of Orem this morning, Evan. How about, what was the process like to get that signed, get your national letter of intent signed to come to Utah Valley?
Yeah. So obviously with this coronavirus, recruiting is a little bit different than what I'm used to at a high school, but getting to know the coaches through Zoom calls and whatnot, and just building a relationship the best I can with the coaches. I just made me want to commit to Utah Valley. So as soon as I was ready, they sent me that national letter of intent and then signed it, sent it back.
Ty's got a couple questions for you.
Yeah, so kind of to tie along with that first question, Kyle, obviously it was a little bit different, with Zoom meetings and stuff, but when you were on that first Zoom meeting with Coach Madsen and the staff, what stood out to you the most that made you said, oh, you know what, I want to be a Wolverine? What really stood out to you?
I think really just the vision they created for me, as far as, playing my game on the court. I think they really just trust my game and feel like I'm a great fit into the offense, and they can really use me in a lot of different ways. And I just felt like they had a good vision for me, and they were giving me a good opportunity. So that's kind of what stood out.
What did you know about Coach Madsen, Utah Valley? Did you know anything about them before they actually reached out to you?
Yeah. So I play AAU with Colby Lace, the shooting guard at Utah Valley, and as soon as I hit the portal, he kind of gave me the quick rundown on what Utah Valley is about and how much he likes the staff there. So, I already had like a little a rundown before they even reached out. So
what you're saying is basically it was Colby who technically recruited you to Utah Valley over the coaching staff.
Yeah, he was the initial reach out, and then the coaching staff followed up.
So were they even on your radar like when you entered the portal then?
To be honest, no. I really didn't even know what to expect. Our season ended. As soon as our season ended, we actually didn't even go to postseason because we were ineligible. So I was probably the first guy to hit the portal as a grad transfer. So I really didn't know what to expect. I don't know if schools are going to wait to reach out and whatnot. So it was cool.
What? So people are going to question this all day long. I mean, you had offers from BYU, Ohio State, Seton Hall, and other schools. Like, you chose Utah Valley over some of these other schools. Like, help people understand why you chose Utah Valley over some of those other big brand name schools.
Yeah. So, I was blessed enough to, have a ton of offers from schools, all levels, Power 5 conferences and whatnot. But, I wanted to go somewhere where, I wanted to have a good time my last year. I wanted to, have a big role. I didn't want to go somewhere and kind of have the similar role I had at Georgia Tech. I wanted to play a lot of minutes. I wanted to score a lot, and I wanted a team and coaches to trust me. And I played college basketball for the last 3 years in the ACC. I get to deal with what it's like to play in the Power 5, and I thought it was just best for me to go somewhere where I was wanted. It was a good fit, and I just felt like it was everything I wanted in Utah Valley.
Yeah. So the UVU coaching staff, they've said a lot of positive things, obviously on Twitter and on articles and stuff. Mark Madsen joined the radio, joined Utah Sports Radio this morning on 1280 The Zone and had tons of great things to say about you. But what they're saying is you've got big motor, tons of energy, size, and some vicious dunks. What can UVU fans expect to see out of you this upcoming season?
Yeah. So, I think I am versatile player. I can play the 3, 4, and 5. I can shoot the ball. I think I'm a pretty good rebounder. And yeah, I love to dunk, and I don't think I'll ever lay up a ball I couldn't dunk. So if I can dunk the ball, I'm gonna dunk it, especially if I can dunk on somebody. So
Now, this is a little off one of the questions that we had because I just want to ask about it. I don't know if you paid attention to Utah Valley last year. They had a lot of depth issues because they were thin. Now with what Coach Madsen's done so far in the recruiting process this year, there's a ton of depth. I mean, there's size, athleticism, shooting. Have you looked at the roster and seen what kind of team you're joining?
yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think you can commit without doing that. So kind of got a good feel for the roster, and he had a bunch of scholarships to use this offseason, which I think he signed like 5 or 6 dudes. So I think he's building a great team, and we're trying to win the WAC this year. So that's the goal we have in mind.
So, like you said, he signed a lot of players, 5, 6 players, and a lot of these players are underclassmen, so you're coming in and joining a team that, relatively speaking, is still pretty young. So what kind of an impact do you want to leave on this squad, not necessarily this season, but in seasons going forward so that they can continue to compete for WAC titles?
Yeah, for sure. I am probably one of the older guys, if not the oldest guy on the team. So, I want to go in and try to help the younger guys. I played in a lot of games. So I think my experience can help a lot of guys. I've learned a lot in my 3 years that those guys really haven't even played in college basketball yet. So, I feel like I can provide a lot of positive insights to those younger guys.
You talked about winning the WAC. I mean, obviously, you probably know that New Mexico State's kind of dominated, the WAC at least the last 3 years and most of this last decade. You've played against Virginia and Duke and North Carolina and other, Florida States and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you take away from that can help these guys maybe knock the king of the hill off that hill?
Yeah. So playing at Georgia Tech, I played the national championship Virginia team. I played the top tier number 1 seeds every year. So to be honest, personally, like it kind of showed me like every team can be beat. There's really, if you have good chemistry on your team and you work hard in the off season, like there's no reason why you can't beat top tier teams. Like there's really not a big difference in college basketball anymore between even mid majors and high majors. So.
Sorry, a little off the topic, just real quick, Ty. Did you get a chance to see any of the Utah Valley Kentucky game from last year?
Yeah, I did. So one of my high school coaches is a big Kentucky fan, and when I told him I was committing to Utah Valley, he said, yeah, they gave my Kentucky team a good run last year. So there was a 2-point game there till the very end. I think you guys played them a little better than we did at Georgia Tech. I think we lost by 20. So
Nice.
So what's it like to be going up against that top talent? You went up against Zion Williamson, 2 seasons ago, or DeAndre Hunter last season. What's it like to match up against those lottery big men?
Yeah. So I mean, playing in the ACC, obviously you play against NBA picks all the time, and that was really cool to do. But I think it just like if I played against those guys, I feel like playing against other dudes is going to be, I'll be able to, really accelerate my game and have more production because I'm not going against lottery picks necessarily every night. So I think playing against those guys really prepared me for especially this next season.
For sure. So this upcoming season for the Wolverines, they have Coach Madsen's built a pretty good schedule. This includes fellows like BYU, the University of Utah, and the Wyoming Cowboys are coming to the UCCU Center sometime next winter. So what do you think, or what did you learn in the ACC that makes you be prepared for when the schedule is going to get tough, where you have those games where you've got BYU and Utah kind of back to back? What do you think the ACC helped prepare you for that?
I mean, Yeah. So I mean, playing in AC, I mean, every single 3 times a week you might be playing three ranked teams in a given week, which can be like really tough. So I mean, I feel like I'm prepared for anything as far as what we can schedule. So I feel pretty confident in that.
Did Coach Madsen or any of the staff pitch you the schedule? I mean, like Ty said, BYU, Utah, Weber State, Southern Utah. I mean, you'll have Dixie State twice because they're in the WAC this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an old rivalry from back in the JUCO days when they were, Utah Valley and Dixie were both JUCOs. Like you said, Wyoming's coming to Orem. I mean, I've been told there's some other possibly P5 opponents that'll be on the schedule. So, like, did they pitch you that schedule and say, you know what, we're not going to go play cupcakes. You're going to get to play some of the best of the best.
Yeah. So I even asked them. I said, "What is the schedule looking like?" And I don't know if their schedule is coming up, but they've told me some pretty good teams. I think that they haven't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
released.
some of the team names that you get to play, just so that you're not in.
Yeah. So there's some talent and there's some tough games definitely on our schedule, and I'm looking forward to them. We're trying to shock the world. So,
is there how do I want to say this? How do you, with this, what's going on in the world with coronavirus and stuff like that, how do you as a player kind of get mentally ready for whenever they say, okay, you can be back in the gym, when right now it's kind of uncertain?
Yeah, so I mean, right now, I have no idea when I'm going to be able to make it out to Utah, even, or when we're allowed back on campus. So, right now I'm just trying to train and do the best I can until we get back to practicing.
So what are some ways that you're trying to build a chemistry with your new teammates? Are you guys going to be having Zoom calls? Are you guys texting each other? Obviously you and Colby, Leeson have had, some past experience being teammates. So how are you trying to build relationships and chemistry with your new current teammates?
Yeah. So, a couple of the guys reached out to me and were pretty pumped up about me committing. So that was good to hear. So, yeah, I mean, I'm ready to, start hanging out with the team. As soon as I get back to campus, we'll start, building, championship chemistry. So.
What do I want to say? I don't know what I want to ask anymore. I think I got all my questions right now. It's kind of a
I got one more.
interview.
I got one more.
Oh, Ty's got one more for you.
Yeah, so kind of piecing it all together, not necessarily for you, but as a team, what's it going to take to hear UVU's name called Selection Sunday for the first time in program history?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. So, first you got to win the WAC. This is probably going to be a one big conference, and, unless something crazy happens. So, I mean, I think the first step of being good anywhere is just, building team chemistry. You can't have a bunch of 5 individuals out there playing, and I mean, even if you have 5 NBA picks, it can be hard to win. So, I mean, you got to play well as a team, and, you have to have a little bit of talent. But I think the first step is just, building good team chemistry and, going from there and putting in the work and, try to win as many games as possible.
One question with regard to that. There's going to be a lot of mouths to feed on that roster. I mean, like we talked about, there's a lot of players. I mean, with Brandon Averett, J.J. Overton, and Trey Woodbury already there, and, you and Fardaws and Asa and Trey Farr. I mean, all these guys that are coming in, there's a lot of mouths to feed. From your experience, how do you work with that to where you build that chemistry and it's not one guy wanting the ball all the time or one guy needing to score all the time and so forth and so on? Because, like you said, I'm in agreement with you that team chemistry is a huge part of winning ball games, regardless of talent, levels. Yeah. So, from your experience, what do you see there?
So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, everybody understanding their role, because, I mean, every guy's going to want to go out there and, try to get 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, but, might not be the best thing for the team. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just understanding, like, what role is best for the team, not what the best role is for you. So, I mean, that's kind of one thing I've kind of picked up through my seasons.
Any other questions, Ty? Anything you got?
Kind of one. This is a little bit related to that last question, but last season, the WAC winners, New Mexico State, they were kind of the same way that this UVU team is shaping up to be. It's in a lot of mouths to feed, but like any given guy could be like the guy for that night. You know, any guy could step up or score 20 points. It wasn't necessarily always one guy consistently on back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
So would you rather have a team like that, or would you rather have a team where there's usually consistently guys who are like the guy and you have a few role guys?
So, I mean, you know, even if you have, you know, that one guy that can go out there and get you 20 every game, there's going to be some games where he has an off night and someone's got to step up. So, I mean, there's a balance between that, I think. So I think it's really just, you know, doing what it takes individually to win. So, I mean, whatever that is on that given night.
Do you think it's more important to have that attitude of we want to win regardless of who gets their points? Because maybe winning will make – I don't want to say – winning brings more attention to the team rather than a guy that goes out and scores 20 points every night and you're at 500 or below.
Yeah. So I mean that's tough. You know, I don't know what to say to that, but I mean, you know, if Coach Madsen wants me to go out there and play 5 minutes and, you know, play my balls off for 5 minutes, you know, that's something I'll do. If we're winning, you know, I'll do that anytime.
Sure. Well, Evan, we appreciate your time. You know,
Absolutely.
You're still in Georgia? Are you in Georgia right now? Or are you back home, wherever that may be?
Yeah. So I'm in Powder Springs, Georgia. That's my home. So it's not too far from Georgia Tech.
Nice. Well,
Nice.
stay safe, and hopefully in a couple months we'll see you out here in Orem.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Thanks,
Good talking
Evan,
with
for
you,
joining us.
Evan.
Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep,
See
you
you,
too.
Evan.
All right, Ty, let's keep talking here. Great mentality, great attitude. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's you know, the numbers aren't huge from Georgia Tech days, but I mean, that doesn't mean he's not going to find success here at Utah Valley.
Absolutely. He's battle tested, you know, like he said, he's faced some of the top talent, you know, in the ACC, Zion Williamson, DeAndre Hunter. So, you know, he comes here and he's prepared. And I like what he said, that he's ready to kind of not face off against lottery talent, you know, every single week. You know, he's ready to show what he can do. And I'm ready to see what he can do as well.
Yeah. I'm excited as well. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think that, you know, I'm looking at the quote that Coach Madsen put on the, you know, in the press release, you know, and he says, quote, you could ask Evan to do almost anything on the court and he has the versatility to do it. You know, Evan consistently attacks the rim and punishes people while finishing. End quote. I mean, it's just, you want guys like that, but you also want that mentality that they understand team chemistry is a huge thing. So, you know, we want to be excited for this season, but it's so hard with this coronavirus, not knowing when everybody's going to be on campus, when they're going to get to, you know, play together and work together. And, yeah, on paper, it's pretty exciting, though.
Yeah, so I think the thing that I love the most about him is his mentality that he's bringing. You know, obviously, like I mentioned, you know, this is still a pretty young team, but if he's bringing that mentality of, you know, we want a championship, it's not, you know, oh, let's have a good season and let's make it to the final, or let's get 20 wins. You know, he wants a championship. You know, he wants championships. So I love that mentality that he's bringing, and hopefully that mentality sticks in these younger guys in years going forward.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it's I don't know. It's so exciting to see what Mark Pope has done. I mean, this is the fifth guy to sign. Is that right? With Asa,
Mark
Latrey, Blaze Neal, Trey Farr, and now Evan Cole. So,
Yep.
and the thing is, people are kind of getting lost. Maybe, like we said, nobody's talking about Jameson Overton or Trey Woodbury or BA being on the roster. You mix all these guys together, Colby Leafson, Fardaws, all of it, I mean, it's his roster now. Like,
These are his
that's his
guys.
roster.
These are his guys, his recruits, that he's bringing in. And, last season was tough, because you didn't have a ton of his recruits. You had more of kind of what was left over of Pope's recruits. But, this year's team, I think you're going to see them mesh a lot better than last year's core did, and, talent-wise alone, they'll get wins. But I think being able to mesh together, they're going to be special. It's going to be more than just wins.
Yeah, yeah, we're giving a lot of hype right now about, some recruits off, on paper because, well, we're Utah Valley. We have to hype things up sometimes.
Yep.
But the depth on this team is going to be crazy. I mean,
Yep.
You got, like we said, BA, Trey Woodbury, Jameson Overton, Colby Leafson. You got 5 guys that can play 1 through 3. Asa can play 3, 4, 3 and 4, maybe even 2. Trey Farr can play 4 or 5. Evan Cole can play 3, 4, or 5. I mean, Farnaz is about the only one that can't play more than one position.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have shooting, athleticism, and size. And they're deep. That's the biggest thing. They're deep. Last year they didn't have this depth.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And those 3 things that you mentioned, speed, athleticism, and shooting, that's perfect to Mark Madsen's style of basketball, and it was evident last year, they struggled shooting the ball. They shot it a lot and they struggled to shoot it, and this year, now that they're bringing in shooters, and now that, Madsen's got his guys, it's going to be special. And I also think it's funny that we're hyping up these recruits, but I think the recruits are so much more than just stars or rankings or whatever. I think it all just depends on fit and coaching and development. There's a number of things that go into how a recruit can be successful or not, because if you get a 4-star recruit and he goes in and he rides the bench, then it kind of, you view him as a bust, and then before you know it, he's going elsewhere, so I think that, recruits are more than just stars or numbers. It's about finding the right fit, the right program where you can truly fit in and shine and show what you can do.
Yeah, it's a mentality thing. I mean, you have to to me, I think you have to really I don't know. You have to have the right mentality. Are you going to buy into what they're preaching, or are you going to just be one of those egotistical guys that have to get my points? I don't care about the team. I just want to score. I mean, everybody wants to score. Everybody wants to have big stats, but
Right.
We've talked about it. New Mexico State, look what they've done the last 3 years. Couple nights, Traveling Queen will get his, he'll get his stats. It's or Jabari Rice or whoever, but yet they keep winning. It doesn't matter who gets their points as long as they keep winning.
And that's what they've done. They've bought in.
And that's what I really would like to see for Utah Valley is, look, we want to win. Somebody's going to get 20 points one night. Another person's going to get 20 points another night. It doesn't matter who gets the points. Let's win. And, I think winning will bring more attention, more scouts, more opportunity for playing maybe pro ball or something. If you're playing on a winning team, if you're a leader on a winning team, they're not going to look at, oh, you only averaged 2 points on that team. Well, how many minutes did you play? Oh, I played like 27. Oh, so you were doing other things like defending, rebounding, running offense, being efficient, being a good teammate. Okay, well, we can work with that. We can't work with a guy that says, I don't care about my team. I just want to score, and I'm going to do whatever I can to score my points. So, and maybe that's what Mark Madsen's going to get out of these recruits.
I certainly hope so. And I also think it's kind of crazy to think that if the Wolverines have this good of a recruiting class after what was, I guess you could call a down season, there were many high points during the season, sweeping Grand Canyon being one of them. But if they're able to get, these caliber recruits, after kind of a low season, imagine what kind of recruits they can get in a high season, where they're coming off winning a WAC championship or a 20-plus win season, So I think it's incredible to see, the recruiting job that Madsen has done. And I would even say that, last season, Madsen being thrown right into kind of the blender there. He did a great job with recruiting last year as well, given the time and the resources that he had. So, I think that speaks great volume that Madsen and his staff are great recruiters. And I can't wait to see what they do when these guys mesh together, they get together winning seasons, and they bring in more and more talent.
Well, and here's another thing to think about, okay? And maybe it was a Pope thing, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. When you think about the recruits that transferred to Utah Valley when Pope was here, when Mark Pope was here, Isaac Nielsen had two of his best years, that he wouldn't have had at BYU.
Right.
Jake Toulson was an honorable mention All-American and WAC Player of the Year. And I'm not saying that that's where Colby Leifson or Blaze Neal are going to go, but trends have shown that guys that transfer from over there that come to Utah Valley have their best years. So,
Yep.
Yeah, like we said, it's all on paper right now, folks. We're speculating based off of what we've seen and what we followed in the WAC. It's exciting what's gone on. Like you said, they had I wouldn't say mediocre. It was a less than favorable
Ideal
season, right?
Yeah.
And then they pull in 5 recruits that are all going to make an impact on this Utah Valley team easily. I mean, and the guys that they have coming back with Brandon Averett, with Jamison Overton, with Trey Woodbury, and then you include Fardaws, who sat out a year. We got bigger and stronger. And I'm pretty sure some New Mexico State fans will watch this. So I'll say, you know what? I don't know if they probably won't knock off New Mexico State. There's wishful thinking here because New Mexico State's just New Mexico State and Chris Jans is there. But, I mean, let's be real. New Mexico State needed a backboard three-pointer to beat Utah Valley in Las Cruces last year.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a toss-up. New Mexico State's still the king of the hill until you knock them off. Is Mark Madsen capable of doing that with his recruiting ability? I think so, especially considering – here's the other thing. All this has been done by Zoom calls. Like, they haven't been able to go in person and, talk to him. So if he's has that ability to do it through a Zoom call, imagine what he could do when he's in person.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And it'll be interesting to keep an eye on to see if Blaze Neal, gets a waiver and is eligible to play right away. Because if he's eligible to play right away, I think that you can make an argument that UVU has the best front court in the WAC, with now bringing in Evan Cole, and Doss and Trey Farrer and Zach Mogbo. But if Blaze Neal gets a waiver, you can make an argument that UVU has the best backcourt as well. Once again, speculation and just wishful thinking, but those are 2 very, very real possibilities.
Well,
don't criticize New Mexico State. We're just wishful thinking.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm just going to rebut it a little bit. If A.J. Harris and Clayton Henry get their medical red shirts from New Mexico State, I'm still going to lean New Mexico State has the best,
That's fair.
guards.
That's fair.
But you mentioned a name that we haven't really talked about, Zach Mogbo. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with him. He's obviously suspended from the team last year, some legal stuff. Every indication is pointing that he will be back because that's all been resolved. I mean, if he's in the mix too, that's another big guy that's a good rebounder, defender, athletic. Depth is key. That's what will help you win 3 games in 3 days. That's why New Mexico State's been so good, because they have so much depth that they can play 3 games without getting burned out.
Yep. It's huge, and just remember, anything can happen in March. The Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunners showed us that in 2016, when they knocked off New Mexico State on a last-second buzzer beater. So just remember, anything can happen in March. That is if we have March Madness this year.
Yep.
I'm optimistic that we will. I'm very optimistic.
I am as well. Excuse me, a little tired. Had a busy weekend with putting up fences and stuff, guys. So I apologize. I had some dad duties and husband duties. So forgive me if I seem a little tired. And I was working on a project that we'll show you guys hopefully in a few, maybe the next week we'll be showing what I've been working on. It's pretty exciting. We're excited, and yeah. Anyways, it's I hope sports comes back. I think there's going to be a lot of guidelines and policies put in place for things, at least right now, or whenever it comes back. But the uncertainty that we're looking at is just, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to have hope and faith that things will work out, because we just don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah. On a more positive note, though, Wolverines fans, tweet at us, reply in the comments on this video. Let us know what you think of Evan Cole coming to the Wolverines. Let us know what you think of Madsen's recruiting class. Let us know how you're feeling for this upcoming basketball season. We want to hear from you guys, because we love you guys. We love Wolverine Nation. We love UVU, and we love talking about this stuff. We love doing it. So seriously, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you.
This is true. So if you want to follow us, right there under his name on the screen, it says @T_career54. Follow me at Kyle Sports Bias, or follow our main one at One Team All Green. You can subscribe, at the end of the video. You can click on our past, the last episode we had. Give us a follow, subscribe, don't miss an episode. Share with your friends. Give us a like if you like it. Tell us what we can do better. And that's about it. Anything else you got, Ty?
Stay tuned. We might have a special guest on our podcast tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that, Wolverine fans.
Yeah, be ready for the next episode. We're going to have a fun one with a unique guest to our podcast. So you want to stay tuned and enjoy that. Ty, give him your signature sound off.
Hey, go Wolverines, baby.
Go Wolverines. Have a nice day, everybody.